Hey everyone, and welcome. It is absolutely fantastic to have you here for this explainer. Look, if you've ever felt that sudden pit in your stomach, or maybe your palms started sweating as you stared to the glass of a dance studio door, just wondering if you have what it takes to step inside, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to unpack how to transform that literally paralyzing fear of a dance class into a highly manageable, confidence-building routine. And we're using some incredibly practical insights specifically designed for shy beginners. So let's figure out how to stop worrying and start actually moving. There's a really common saying in the dance world that dance anxiety feels like a spotlight that just never turns off. And if you're a shy beginner, this is probably exactly how you feel. You imagine standing in a studio, the music cues up, and suddenly the whole room is just waiting for you to mess up, stumble, or completely go off beat. I want to validate that core fear right off the bat. Those feelings, they are incredibly common, even for seasoned professionals when they're learning a brand new style. But the really great news here is that this spotlight effect is something we can systematically dismantle piece by piece. Okay, let's dive into the structure. Here's our roadmap for taking the overwhelm out of the experience. First, we've got the spotlight of anxiety. Second, we'll talk about controlling the controllables. Third, reframing your mistakes. Fourth, finding your focus anchor. And finally, consistency over intensity. Starting off with part one, the spotlight of anxiety and shifting your mindset. Before the music even begins, honestly, before your foot even touches the dance floor, we have to make a crucial mental pivot. The trap most beginners fall into is what we call a performance mindset. When you feel like you're performing, you automatically trigger this state of constant self-judgment. It's like you're evaluating every single move as if a panel of judges is holding up scorecards right in front of you. We need to completely swap that out for a practice mindset. Practicing is simply about learning skills, one clumsy step at a time. This shift is the absolute philosophical foundation for overcoming dance anxiety. Because when you're practicing, there's no audience, right? It's just you, basically playing in a sandbox of new movements. Moving on to part two, control the controllables. This is all about pre-class prep. To establish a real sense of safety before you even walk through the door, lean into a pre-class checklist. These are the physical steps that anchor you. First, arrive just a few minutes early. That gives you the power to survey the room and pick a spot with a crystal clear view of the instructor, so you aren't craning your neck from the very back row. Next, make sure you lace up shoes you actually feel comfortable moving in. And finally, ease your body into the space with a quick personal warm-up. Think simple shoulder rolls, some gentle stretching, or just easy footwork. Focusing on these highly controllable basics prevents your anxiety from spiking before the lesson even starts. Now, right before things officially kick off, I want you to run through a simple confidence ritual to instantly calm your nervous system. First, take one slow, deep breath, consciously dropping your shoulders away from your ears. Second, count out 4 steady beats in your head. This anchors your internal timing and syncs you up with the room. And finally, remind yourself that everyone, literally everyone around you, feels unsure at the beginning. This quick ritual signals to your brain that you are safe, you're grounded, and you are ready to learn. Part 3. Reframing your mistakes. This is your in-the-moment recovery. So, the crucial point is right here. Mistakes are completely inevitable on the dance floor. They are going to happen, but they are simply feedback. They are absolutely not hard evidence that you inherently can't do it. Anxious dancers so often treat a missed step or a wrong turn as this massive character flaw or proof that they don't belong in the studio at all. We've got to stop that cycle right now. The secret to not letting anxiety win isn't about being perfect. It's entirely about how you handle those mistakes in the moment. When you start treating an error as a simple learning loop, you completely strip away its power to embarrass you. When a mistake happens, and again, it will, do not just stand there replaying the embarrassing moment in your head. Instead, run a really concrete mental checklist. Ask yourself 2 simple things. What exact part did I miss? And then, what can I practice for the next 30 seconds? That's it, just 2 questions. This highly specific, action-oriented procedure stops the panic spiral dead in its tracks. It yanks you right out of your emotional reaction and gives your brain a focused, immediate task to execute while the music keeps playing. You see, trying to untangle a whole choreography routine all at once, total recipe for panic. Instead, break that massive knot down into bite-sized wins. Tell yourself something like, okay, I'm going to repeat this single step sequence 10 times at half speed, or I am going to focus strictly on hitting the rhythm for one single verse and completely ignore my arm movements. Going after short sessions with clear, bite-sized wins dramatically reduces the overwhelming pressure and naturally builds up your momentum. All right, part 4, finding your focus anchor, which is all about managing your attention. A massive amount of our self-consciousness comes from our eyes just aimlessly wandering around the room, checking other people's faces to see if we look awkward or if they're judging us. The solution here is finding a physical focus anchor to intentionally manage your attention. Your first option? The instructor's feet. The exact millisecond self-criticism creeps in, or you feel your eyes darting around the room, snap your attention right back to their shoes. It keeps you grounded in the mechanics of the movement and far away from your own swirling thoughts. Now, if the instructor's feet aren't working for you, or maybe your sightline gets blocked by someone taller, find a wall marker. Pick a stationary element in the room, a spot on the wall, a poster, a door frame, anything fixed. This is incredibly helpful because it means you don't have to stare at yourself in those super intimidating wall-to-wall studio mirrors. It is a highly effective alternative to keep your eyes focused outward instead of collapsing inward into self-doubt. Your third anchor is the beat of the music itself. Rather than finding something to look at, you find something to listen to. You can actually use the audio track as a reliable, rhythmic place to anchor your wandering attention. When that internal monologue starts getting way too loud and critical, turn up the volume of the bass line in your own mind. Let the audio track literally pull you out of your head and back into the physical space of the room. And finally, we have internal counting. This one is highly recommended by veteran instructors as a foolproof way to stay present, especially when the music is fast or complex. Quietly counting the rhythm internally, 1, 2, 3, 4, forces your brain to dedicate its processing power to the present moment within your own body. You simply don't have the mental bandwidth to worry about other people's opinions if you are intensely focused on counting out your steps. Beyond those mental anchors, you can use some environmental hacks to set yourself up for success. Wear dark, comfortable clothing. It really minimizes worries about your appearance, and frankly, it does a fantastic job of hiding nervous sweat. Also, do not be afraid to advocate for yourself. Tell the teacher before class that you're new or feeling shy, and you might prefer to hang in the back or just watch a few rounds first. Often, this simple admission results in the instructor offering extra supportive cues and actually giving you permission to practice at your own pace with absolutely zero pressure. And our final section, part 5, consistency over intensity and building long-term momentum. The real magic actually happens after the class ends. Building long-term momentum as a dancer is all about consistent, low-intensity exposure. And the best way to maintain that consistency is by logging your progress. Note the tiny victories, like realizing that in week 1 you improved your timing on the basic step, and by week 2 you successfully stopped freezing when you forgot a sequence. Tracking these tiny wins week over week gives your brain the tangible, concrete evidence it needs to truly believe that you are in fact getting better. So as we bring all these lessons together, I really want you to remember this core truth. Anxiety doesn't automatically mean danger. It often just means you care deeply about what you are doing, and you're in the vulnerable process of learning something new. So be kind to your nerves. By using your pre-class controls, chasing shorter practice wins, and anchoring your attention, stepping onto that dance floor simply shifts from being a terrifying fear test into a really rewarding, skill-building routine. Which leaves us with one final, pretty exciting thought. If your anxiety just means you care, what could you possibly achieve by turning that fear into focus? Think about that as you pack your bag, tie up those comfortable shoes, and walk through the doors for your very first class. Because you've got the toolkit now. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait for you to get out there and start moving.